That sound. We've all been there. You're driving along, maybe focused on traffic or, the
Mm.
radio, and then tink.
Yes.
A sharp little stone kicks up and smacks your windshield. And for that split second, you just panic because what looks like a tiny little starburst it could instantly become a massive financial headache.
It's an instant stressor,
Yeah.
and it's because the stakes are surprisingly high. I mean, car glass damage isn't just a cosmetic thing, the windshield is.
Hmm.
It's fundamental to your car's structural safety.
Right. If it fails, your other safety systems can fail.
Exactly.
And that complexity is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. Our mission is to take a really detailed look into the real costs of car glass repair and replacement
We're pulling all the need-to-know info from some very specialized auto glass resources.
to show you the specific price ranges, what critical high-tech features are really driving that final bill, and why waiting even a week on a minor chip is probably the most expensive decision you can make.
Yeah, we should probably set that initial expectation right away. I mean, you might walk into a shop thinking, $50 for a small chip,
Yeah.
and that's feasible.
Okay.
But if that damage spreads, a full windshield replacement can easily start around $200 and, depending on your car's tech, climb past $500 or even way more.
And here's the kicker, the real teaser for today. The biggest variable in that cost isn't always the glass itself. It's this hidden mandatory calibration that's tied to the safety systems you rely on every single time you drive.
We're definitely going to get into that. But first, let's just categorize the damage, because that whole repair versus replacement calculation, that's the first financial hurdle you're going to face.
Okay, so let's unpack this severity spectrum. The size and type of the damage, that's the first major cost factor. So where's the clear line between a cheap repair and a really costly replacement?
Well, the good news is, if you catch it early, the fix is quick and remarkably affordable. We draw a very clear line based on size, the pattern, and of course the location of the damage.
So tell us about that sweet spot, the affordable fix.
That sweet spot is almost always a chip that's smaller than a quarter. If the damage fits inside that circle, you're likely looking at a specialized resin injection repair.
Okay.
And that's typically going to range between, say, $50 to $100. It's the most efficient fix by far.
And what about cracks? Can you save those?
Sometimes. Yeah, cracks are a bit trickier. A short crack, something under 6 inches, might still be repairable with similar resin techniques.
But I'm guessing that costs more.
It pushes the price up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually somewhere between $100 and $150. But once you get beyond 6 inches, the structural stress is just too great. The chances of it spreading are too high for a safe repair.
So those two categories, the small chip, the short crack, that's basically your only window for a quick, affordable fix. What automatically pushes you into that expensive replacement zone?
The replacement threshold is pretty unforgiving. And it's all dictated by safety. Like we said, cracks longer than 6 inches almost always mean a complete replacement.
But you mentioned location.
Right. Location is just as crucial as the size.
So where specifically are we talking about?
If the damage is located directly in the driver's immediate line of sight, that critical zone, right out from the steering wheel replacement, is mandatory, even for a tiny chip.
You just can't have your vision impaired.
You can't. And also, damage that's too close to the edge of the windshield, that often means you have to get a replacement too.
Why the edges? Is the glass just weaker there?
It's actually where the glass is most crucial for structural integrity. The windshield is glued into the car's frame, and that bond provides up to 60% of the vehicle's rigidity in a rollover.
60%. Wow.
So if a chip is near the edge, it compromises that whole safety cage. And it can even stop the passenger airbag from deploying correctly, because the airbag actually uses the windshield as a backstop.
That is a critical detail most drivers have no idea about. We just think of it as, a shield from wind and rain, not a support column.
Precisely. And if the damage is complex, like multiple chips clustered together or those classic spiderweb patterns, it just means the glass is too compromised. Full replacement is the only option.
So, okay, if you're lucky enough to just need that quick resin repair, how long does that actually take?
Oh, it's very fast. The resin injection and the curing process, it usually takes only about 30 to 45 minutes.
That's it?
Yeah, the technician injects the resin, cures it with a UD light, and you can usually drive away right after.
Yeah.
They'll just tell you to avoid, high-pressure car washes for about a day.
That is the best case scenario. Now, let's pivot to the replacement, because this is where the costs can really spiral, often hitting $500 or more. And what's fascinating is how much the car itself dictates that final price.
This is really the deep dive part of the cost. It's not just about the size of the glass anymore. It's about what's embedded in the glass and what that glass allows the car to do.
And that starts with the type of glass required, right?
Absolutely. If you drive a luxury vehicle, an imported car, or even just a newer model with special coatings, you often need what's called OEM glass, original equipment manufacturer glass.
Which I know is always more expensive than the aftermarket stuff, but is that just about branding?
Not at all. It's about function. OEM glass guarantees a perfect fit, which you need to maintain the car's original noise ratings and aerodynamics.
Mm.
But more importantly, it ensures perfect optical clarity.
Oh, okay.
Aftermarket glass, while cheaper, might have these tiny distortions or different thickness tolerances. And that can really affect how the sensors embedded in the glass read the road.
That makes sense. Even a tiny distortion could throw off a system that's trying to measure distances down to the millimeter.
It absolutely can.
Oh.
But the real game changer, the non-negotiable step that can bump the bill by $150 to $300 is the ADS factor, Advanced Driver Assistance Systems.
We hear ADS all the time, but just to be clear for everyone, we're talking about things like lane departure warnings, automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control.
Correct. And all of those features rely on very precise cameras and sensors that are mounted right on the windshield, usually up by the rearview mirror. That camera is basically the car's eye.
So when you replace the glass, you've just moved the car's eye by a fraction of a millimeter.
Precisely. After replacement, even if the camera is reinstalled perfectly, the slight change in the glass position means the whole system loses its alignment. And without a proper calibration, those safety features just won't work correctly.
Or worse.
Or worse, they might give you incorrect warnings or even brake at the wrong time.
So what happens if let's say a less than professional shop skips that calibration step to save the customer some money? What's the worst case scenario?
The safety risks are enormous. I mean, best case, the system just deactivates and you get an error warning on your dash. You lose the features.
Okay, that's not great.
But worst case, the system is misaligned. Your lane keeping assist might read the lines wrong and start steering you toward the shoulder or even into the oncoming lane. You're actively driving an unsafe vehicle.
So that ADS calibration is absolutely mandatory for safety. Can you walk us through what that process actually looks like? Is it just plugging in a laptop?
No, it's a bit more complex. It's usually one of two types, static or dynamic. Static calibration happens right there in the shop. They place these specialized targets in front of the car at very precise distances.
Okay.
And the technician uses software to basically tell the camera to read those targets and reset its baseline.
And dynamic. I'm guessing that involves driving.
You got it. Dynamic calibration requires the tech to actually drive the car, often at specific speeds, while the system uses real road markers to fine-tune itself.
So all of that, the special equipment, the targets, the time, that's where that extra $150 to $300 comes from.
That's exactly why. And it adds up to an extra hour to the service time as well.
You know, given that complexity, we should touch on location. Our sources noted that in a market like Portland, Oregon, you'll find competitive rates. But the key thing you're paying for is certification.
Absolutely. This is not the time to cheap out. You need certified technicians who have invested in the right tools and training. If a quote seems suspiciously low, it's probably because they're skipping calibration or using inferior glass. You're paying for the guarantee that your safety system still works.
Let's talk about minimizing those out-of-pocket expenses, because this is where you can really save a significant amount of money. How does insurance play into all this?
This is, I would argue, the most financially important piece of information we can give you. Most comprehensive auto policies cover glass repair, but how they cover it is a critical part.
And I know there's a huge incentive for the insurance company to push for a repair over a replacement, right?
A massive economic incentive. Many insurers will waive your deductible entirely for chip repairs.
Really?
Yeah, think about their math. They would much rather pay, say, $75 now for a quick repair than be on the hook for a $500 replacement later, especially with those ADS fees.
So it's basically preventative maintenance that they are paying for.
Exactly. So if you have a repairable chip, you could get it fixed for essentially free. No deductible, no claim impact. It's a huge win.
Okay, but what about a full replacement?
For a full replacement, your standard deductible usually applies. If the job is $450 and your deductible is $250, you pay the $250. That said, some premium policies do offer full glass coverage with a zero deductible. You should always call your agent to be sure.
This brings us right back to the urgency factor, which I think is so key. Delaying that repair actively costs you money. Can you explain why that little chip spreads so quickly?
Yeah, it's driven by two main things:
Mm-hmm.
road vibration and thermal stress. A small chip creates a weak point. So every time you hit a pothole or drive on a rough road, that vibration is pushing on it.
And the temperature changes.
That's the big one. Running your defroster on a cold morning or parking in direct sun.
Mm-hmm.
It causes the glass to expand and contract unevenly around that damaged spot.
And that uneven expansion is what pushes the chip into a long crack.
Exactly. That little chip that might have been a $75 repair today can easily become a $350 replacement next month. And beyond the money, there's a safety and legal risk.
Tell us about the legal side of it.
Well, delaying repairs impairs your vision, it's distracting, so it increases your accident risk. Plus, many state laws, like in Oregon, require clear, uncompromised visibility. Driving with a big crack could get you a ticket.
Or cause you to fail a vehicle inspection.
Or fail an inspection, absolutely. The potential cost of an accident or a ticket is so much higher than that initial, possibly free chip repair.
Yeah, that's really compelling. Procrastination is expensive here.
Mhm.
So let's say you do need a replacement. What should you expect in terms of the actual process and the time involved?
The timeline is really important to understand. The tech has to carefully remove the old glass, prep the frame, apply new adhesives, and then set the new windshield. That part of it usually takes about 60 to 90 minutes.
But the clock doesn't stop there, does it?
No, and this is the most critical safety period you should never, ever ignore. After the new glass is set, you have to wait an additional hour before driving.
An hour.
At least an hour. That's the adhesive curing time. That hour is essential for the adhesive to gain enough strength to hold the windshield in place during an accident.
So that waiting period isn't a suggestion, it's a safety mandate. It makes sure the airbag has that solid base to deploy against.
It's the difference between a properly installed safety component and just a loose piece of glass.
So when you're looking for service, what are the steps you should take to avoid any unexpected fees, especially that ADS cost we talked about?
Transparency is everything. Always, always request a detailed written estimate that itemizes all the costs: the parts, the labor, and most critically, that specific ADS calibration fee.
And if a quote seems way too low,
You have to ask them directly. Is calibration included? Are your technicians certified?
what about guarantees?
Always ask about the warranty. A professional shop should offer a comprehensive warranty on both the glass itself and the workmanship, the seal, the installation. A provider who stands behind their work is showing you they're confident in their materials and their skills.
We've covered a lot of ground today. We've gone from a tiny $50 chip repair all the way up to a complex $500 plus replacement job. We've clarified that huge difference between a chip smaller than a quarter and a crack longer than 6 inches.
And we've really shined a light on the huge impact of those advanced safety systems, the ADS features, which require that mandatory costly calibration you just can't skip.
Yeah, you really can't.
And if we just connect this to the bigger picture, you have to remember that your windshield is not just a window. It's a critical structural component. It's essential for your airbag, for your roof support. A professional knows how to select the right materials and techniques for your vehicle and even your climate.
That's a great point. So, considering all this complexity and the costs, I think the most important nugget of knowledge for you to take away today is the financial and safety imperative of fixing small damage immediately.
That tiny $75 chip isn't a cosmetic flaw you can put off.
Right. It's a structural and safety time bomb that your insurance company is actually willing to help you fix right away, often for free. So what stands out more to you as the most surprising cost factor? The small chip price that might be fully covered, or that specialized ADS calibration fee that could add up to $300 to your bill? Go get those chips fixed.